All right. So I see new people, and so let me just introduce myself. This is Dr. Katia Pizarro, founder and president of Elite Language Academy, ELA. So this is pretty much a great satisfaction, really, to gather and design pieces, of so many years of experience that really worked. And best of all, that we gather the best faculty, over the years here in the States. Some of our faculty members are pretty much like me, coming from other places, Europe, okay, or Central America, South America, immersing to the US, convalidating classes and courses as you all want to do, working hard, overcoming difficulties. First of all, with immigration, being legal, which is a common term when you just arrive to a new country, especially US, making sure that you are legal, having your credentials translated properly, and start your journey, your new journey, making your dreams come true. As I've been saying from lesson 1, having a plan, having a strategic plan. I always say and repeat and paraphrase myself, it's not just enough having the will or thinking about doing it, how you're gonna do it, have a plan and measure the weaknesses, your weaknesses and strengths. Time management is crucial. I congratulate you that you are incorporating this session under your agenda of the day, because you know that it might be helpful. You will be taking advantage of some knowledge that I am sharing tonight. So I think it's great. That's a great model and example. All right. So I would like to know a little bit about our audience. I believe that to break the ice, since this is our main topic, listening and speaking, I also incorporated a demo of our new and exciting program, which is the conversation classes for daily life, combining themes that are applicable for your personal, development, and at the same time your professional, which is, they work together. So hopefully, you will be really taking the best of everything, of the presentation and my contribution and the contribution of the participants, guests of this class. The topic for this conversation class will be perspective talking, which is really broad, perspective comes from perception. So we'll touch nice themes that may gather. The intention is engagement. Based on your experience, background, and background and experience from your workplace, your academic record background, or simply life, So let's start. Gabby, can you please maybe share something tonight? Why are you here? So who could, are you there? Ask to unmute, okay. All right, I asked to unmute Gabby. Do we have do we have volunteers to, introduce themselves, telling me the main purpose of being tonight, and any feedback or any idea or any concern? This is time to ask questions before we start, so maybe I can really incorporate them through the presentation at the end. So this is your chance to ask me questions. I'm willing to answer and listen.
Hello.
Yes, Gabby.
Hello. My name is Gabby Mirelli. I am from Peru. I am here for learning English.
Yes.
I can speak English.
You are speaking English, yes?
Yes.
Tell me,
Sorry.
Gabby, tell me,
Sorry.
what do you do in Lima? Are you in Lima or in what part of Peru are you?
Lima, Peru.
Lima, Peru. I missed that. Okay, so what do you do? What do you do for living? Are you studying? Are you working? Are you doing both?
Are you
I am. Mhm.
I am and I am travel. I say no work. I
Mhm.
am working.
Yes. What's your occupation?
And food engineer.
That sounds so interesting. Wow. I think that you give a great contribution to your community. That's great. Okay, so I'm very happy that you're here. Welcome, bienvenida. So hopefully you're free to take notes, and I will be sharing some tips to expand your vocab. All right. Okay, who could be? Thank you so much, Gabby. So let's let add another person, another participant guest to introduce himself or herself and share something tonight.
Okay.
Hello, Katia.
All right, cool. So who is next?
Fernando.
Fernando. Okay, Fernando
Yes.
Clementi, where are you? Where's your location?
I live in Yucatan, Mérida, Yucatan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I am Chilean.
You're Chilean. Mm-hmm.
Yes. My wife is Mexican and my son is Chilean. Mexican.
Excellent. Yes. And you know what? I believe that you will love the topic, that I selected for our conversation session, mini session, based on diversity and the value of culture. It's really important, the perception of culture, in all what we do, especially nowadays that we're all connected, right? So, and sometimes perceptions really count, so that's great, Fernando. And what do you do? What's your field? What's your occupation?
I am engineering, but
Engineer.
my especialización, ¿cómo es?
My specialization or
Yeah.
my
specialization
my
is
training,
is supply chain. Okay. But in how you say all my life I study English in different occasions, USA,
Yes.
in Chile, but always need practice and
Of course. Exposure.
Yeah, when I hear your presentation, I understand all, but I need practice.
Yes. You know what? When you're shaving, Fernando, when you're shaving and you're looking in front of your mirror, you can speak in English. Talk to yourself. That's a good strategy. And it's not fancy. Nothing about technology, but you can start doing it. Model. When you watch a movie, try to really watch it in English. Maybe you may have the subtitles. I'm just sharing some tips of previous sessions. Have the subtitles in English because I believe, Fernando, that you have some experience in the language. So push, your understanding and speaking. So it makes sense, you connect meaning with the word and you will remember and you may apply it. You can also repeat the word. For example, you're listening and you say, oh, that's the way it's pronounced. Maybe because you are reading, you have the subtitles, and then, oh, I didn't know that that se pronunciaba así. That word was pronounced that way. So that's also a tip, and a very informal tip, Fernando, that you can start doing, because now it's everyone pretty much is easy access, Netflix, Prime, Hulu's, and there are some others that you can really watch, you know, movies, documentaries from all over the place, right? Just for having an internet access, which is great. So
it's a way for my son have 12 years old.
yes,
All the day listen and see YouTube, but the
Watch.
YouTuber in English, talking English, and the pronunciation, and he understand all the better English, and I think practice with him.
Yes, and you know what? There's absolutely truth. Practice makes a difference. You know, that's for sure. And so I'm happy. I'm so glad and honored to have you, Fernando. So one more participant, and I start my lesson. I start sharing my, you know, what I prepare for you with love and care and dedication. Okay. So who could be our next presenter, our next volunteer? Thank you so much, Fernando, for really helping us start this session. Thank you. Yes, who could be next, please? I would love to see your faces. Can you share, you know, your video? Yes.
Hello,
Yes. Who is this?
Catalina.
Catalina. Hello, Catalina. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
I am Catalina. I am from Colombia. I live in Bogota, the capital. I'm an economist. And now I'm studying logotherapy. I don't know.
Therapy, yes.
And no more. I'm here because I want to practice English and to improve my vocabulary.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you made a good decision. I believe, and I repeat, you know, exposure is extremely important. So that's the reason why you need to show, you know, use your resources. Reading is great. I also recommend while you are driving or having your, you know, iPad, you know, listen some podcast. It's great, you know. So listen and listening. You will be surprised that by reading and listening, you get to the point that you make the click to your brain, and that cognitive, you know, communication comes up. So I always say to my students when I teach, you know, at the university face-to-face, I teach 2 classes every other semester. I always say, when you start dreaming in English, that's when you're getting it, because it's a tendency to speak English, modeling your native language. And that happens to all. English is my second language too. It is true that I incorporate in ELA's family as faculty Americans, you know, native speakers, and in people who are pretty much totally bilingual, but it's a process. It's an American student learning Spanish is pretty much the same process, you know, vice versa. Now, I believe that in Spanish, especially the phonetics, the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds are totally different, you know. As I explained in previous lessons, we only have 5 vowel sounds, 5 sonidos de vocales, A, E, I, O, U, right? In Spanish. In English, we have long and short sounds of one specific vowel. So, and that counts for practice. So I'll show you. I will be, as part of the tool that I will be using for this session, is based on my English lab, and it's one of the tools, you know, the platforms and English labs that we use for our classes. So everything is bundled, so it's very repetitive. We apply all the senses, so reading, writing, listening, speaking, so you have a chance to record your voice, to listen, watch conversations, and of course, producing, writing, because there is a moment that you need to combine everything, all right? But that comes, it's a process, like anything we do, like we all, you know, like anything that we understand and study. All right. So it's a pleasure to meet you. All right. So let's start, you know, our class. All right. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, all right, Daniela, I'm ready for your help. Okay. 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 Share screen.
Sí, Katia, descuida.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So ELA's English Life Lessons. Good evening and welcome again for guests who just arrived to our mini and lovely class. So this lesson, you know, is dedicated to listening and speaking for bachelor's and master's degrees, or simply people who have the call of learning languages to the top, which is the ideal state of anything, you know, or anything that you do in life. Okay, this is our agenda. This is our lesson plan in a way. Of course, you know, this is a good excuse, you know, it's a nice time to share to this international community, you know, what is ELA? So what is ELA about? Elite Language Academy, my baby, my project. Combine English skills lessons, as we all do, as I was telling one of your friends, you know, for tonight, we combine listening, speaking, reading, all the language skills needed, all right, per unit. So, and of course, we stress one specific skill. If it's a reading class, we stress more reading, but it doesn't mean that you don't learn grammar, you don't listen and repeat and write. So we will do, everything is combined. It's a combined lesson. That's the reason why it's combined. Everything is integrated, and the tools that we use reinforce that thinking, that approach, all right? So the teaching and learning tool that I will be using tonight, my helper, will be North Star, listening and speaking, which is, you know, we have a partnership with my English Lab, Pearson and ELA. As I was saying at the very beginning of the lesson, I will be incorporating a little touch, you know, so you have an idea, a little demo about our conversation English classes that we just launched this week, which is, I think we're very excited. Students can really register in one class for 4 classes or 8 classes, and each class presents a specific topic. All right, so hopefully, you know, I will be giving you an idea how this will be. Remember, it's going to be a mini, you know, taste, you know, because of course we have we have a program, and of course we have our closing. Okay, our mission, as I have been saying since the very beginning, we exist, you know, to facilitate language learning, multicultural awareness, and teaching practices through technological innovation. We strive to impact student success, achieving academic and professional goals on a global scale. We inspire an educational connection which promotes global growth through the walls of virtual space, as we're doing it tonight. Our vision, we aspire to be a world-class conductor, facilitators that will empower our students to be global leaders, assuring their language education to obtain their ultimate professional goals. And I know that you all can do it, all right? We just need the tools, and we just need the good teachers, you know, good designers, so to make it happen, and good students to take advantage of presented, you know, for them. You know, I always say 50% on the student, 50% depends on the program and teachers, instructors. It's 50-50. So how we work, how Elite Language Academy, ELA, works. You take your courses. They are fully online from the beginning to the end. We normally do it in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. That's the length of all the programs. Of course, we have an independent program. Of course, it could be 4, 6, but the main program, which is the academic English program and the accelerated English program, they are both offered in 8 or 12 weeks. In addition to that online class that you have, which is you have your language lab, you have your ebook, your workbook, everything is monitored with your instructor because you are assigned to an instructor. It's not that you are alone. You are not alone in the process. It's bundled, it's incorporated live sessions, in Zoom or Meet, sometimes WhatsApp video. I've had cases that they have the lessons, using the tools that they have available, and they are with your certified American instructor or a simulated English instructor like me, and to enhance listening and speaking, and of course, clarify specific questions in grammar, reading, based on the curriculum that you are already covering. So in other words, it's pretty much quality teaching. That's what I say to my faculty members. It's a valuable moment that students, one student or a group of students, our classes will be 5, no more than 10 students if we have a full class, but so far we've been having more one-on-one classes. Okay, so at the end, we make sure our job as an institution and faculty members, our job is to make sure that you complete your online units, and you have a whole completion, and at the end, you fill out, you have of course, your final exam or a demonstration of your skills, an artifact we call, and then of course you get your certificate. So every single class shows a certificate. Okay, the services, as I was telling you, academic English, which is the EAP, the one that pretty much where I'm presenting tonight, the regular classical typical English class that you can find in any language center all over the world, all right? Basic, intermediate, advanced, TOEFL, IELTS, business, conversation, college essay prep for writing college students. And of course, and now that's our international high school that we have, another program, another way to help young learners who can being in your own country. You can apply for an American high school program and obtain your American high school diploma. Elite Language Academy administers, leads, your English progress. If your English, the English level of this young adult, this high school potential student is a little low, it will be in an accelerator, in the just basic. We take the student to reach the level that is recommended to be able to apply to this American high school. If this learner, this student is already, is ready or just needs a review in writing, we accept the TOEFL, and also we provide a specific academic English course to meet the gap. Even though people learn a lot of English lessons and have, as I heard one conversation at the very beginning of one of the participants, he studied English the whole life, but of course, it's normal that you develop a specific skill more. Maybe you are a great reader, you know a lot of grammar, you are a grammarian, but of course, listen, speaking, that's the area that you need the most. So that's what we stress. So we're doing the combined English skills right now. All right, it's a demo. I will start with the communicative part, which covers this conversation new class, for daily life. Our topic, as pretty much, we'll have one conversation session, we'll have a specific topic. The topic that I selected based on the audience that we're having tonight, it says perception, how we perceive our audience. people who we work with or people who are around us, how we perceive others. And pretty much we start, all right, impressions, evaluations by engaging in perception. So you have an impression or you create a mental concept of a person based on, you know, the appearance of the person, the expressions, the manners of the person based on their culture or the setting that you are meeting that person. Perception is a process, I say, and there is a path, you know, there is a road, you know, to really support that concept: selection, organization, and interpretation. So I would like to ask, you know, as my helper of tonight, Daniela, what ideas come to your life? What can you predict what I'm going to talk about?
Tía, perdóname, pero el audio está como que, a ver.
Ready?
Ah, ya, listo, sí era un participante.
Okay, thank you. So based on my, you know, what you see on the screen right now, what ideas come to your mind? What can you predict of what I will be sharing, you know, with the audience? Okay, perception, what comes to your, you know, mind or anything?
Like general vocabulary, right? For example, like when you meet someone for the first time, you can, first of all, the physical appearance, you can say that person is tall, short, thin. You can also like analyze the way they behave, how they talk, what things they are saying. And then, but everything comes like, at first, everything comes really fast. Like the first thing you can see, it's what you get, like physical appearance. And then maybe, I don't know, you kind of decide to talk to them, and then you can learn more about them, and you can maybe perceive that they are, what their interests are as a person, like what they like, what they don't like, what they do for a living. And based on that, you can also start like perceiving or sometimes just assuming some other things. For example, if I tell you I am a doctor, you're going to think, oh, she deals with a lot of people or with many sick people every day. And that can be true, but also maybe it isn't. But just by saying doctor, you start imagining some sort of things.
Yeah, as pretty much, you know, you're touching a very powerful, you know, keyword, which is, you know, stereotyping, which is also the first impression, and culture. Culture, you know, has a lot to do, you know. So I believe that, and of course, a stereotype, you know, some people will have a stereotyping. So what about that, you know, the impression? So, and the ideas that maybe you already have, you know, and maybe you can really project through your conversation, your communication, you know, that idea. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Excellent, thank you so much. Who else would like to participate? What is your projection? I know, I did my homework before opening this class, but what is your prediction? What do you think I'm gonna cover based on what you read, you know, on the screen? What ideas come to your, you know, to your mind? What can you say? This is your time to express yourself, you know, this is your time. Okay, I have Lucy, Araceli, you can, you know, raise your hand and I will say, please just go ahead. So who could be a volunteer? I heard that some of you need practice, so this is your time. No judgment, remember, we're not judging, okay? No juzgamos. This is your practice, you know, we don't criticize. Remember that this is your practice. And how do you learn? By making mistakes. Self-correction is great. Maybe you already know the word, but you say, oh my God, why did I say it? Because it's a normal process. So who can say something about, you know, what we're going to cover based on the title that you see? Who could do it? Daniela gave us a great reference, a great feedback. Who else could do it? Hello? Victims. Fernando, are you there? Oh, Fernando's not there.
I'm here.
Okay, Fernando, this is your, you said that there's no, okay, this is your chance.
Okay.
Expressing yourself. What do you think about, okay, what is your experience? You know, you've been, you know, exposed to a workplace, your personal, professional life, work life. So what about, you know, perception? What comes to your mind just by reading what is on the screen? Ideas, you know, just, you know, brainstorming. Nothing formal, all right? Nothing formal.
You say Miss is correct. Well, my experience in supply chain all begin in the planify next the buy purchasing international trade or foreign trade, imports, negotiate the transport, the vessel with the container arrives to the port and the custom, we pay the custom of the rates and arrive this container to the warehouse. One time, hello?
Yes,
One
I'm
time,
listening. We're listening. Yes. What happened?
Sell the merchandise. This is the business.
Wow.
Buy cheap in China and sell. ¿Cómo se dice? How you say caro?
Caro, expensive.
And sell expensive in anything, any country.
Yes.
This is the business.
Excellent. So it was just pretty much a perception of, you know, presenting, you know, that situation, that setting. Excellent. All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. So, all right. So let me continue. All right. So need to make sense. So the first step, all right, is need to make sense of others. Like even for personal and professional settings, you know, and we have examples, you know, Daniela, you know, gave us a nice intro and feedback about the topic. And at the same time, Fernando's example and experience, you know, regarding, you know, his job. But pretty much it's all about pretty much what's the meaning of we have to make a sense of others. Make sense, in other words, to understand, you know, to really understand the person. And that's pretty much a communicator, you know. A good communicator, you know, is a good listener. And of course, you know, there has to be an exchange of a message. That's a basic of a communication, you know. Speaker one, speaker two, exchanging. Now, what is very crucial, which is very important, the words that you use, the tone of voice that you use, and guess what? In some occasions, gestures, you know, your expressions. So I believe that sometimes, you know, it's also, you know, so important, so valuable to know the culture of the person you're talking to, first of all, because it could be offensive, or maybe it could be normal for that person and it could be an offense for you. But if you have some understanding of that speaker to, or co-worker, or a person that you are exposed to talk to and exchange, you know, a conversation or a message, you are more compassionate, you know. In other words, you don't get offended because mentally you will say, oh, that's the way he or she, or that's the way, you know, people of this particular, you know, place are this way. Now, I always say, smile is a very international language, you know, and it's better to show a smile, you know, when something sometimes, you know, is not clear or you don't understand. So I believe that, yes, so you need to make sense. Okay, how do you make sense? And I encourage your participation. Make sense to understand. Do you have some techniques of making sense? How do I understand this person? For example, I'm saying, you know, the words, the vocabulary that that person uses, you know, or the expression is also a way to have an idea, right? A concept of who you're talking to. Daniela said, of course, the impression, you know, that counts, which is your appearance, you know, physical, and of course, your projection. And that is when we say, how kind you are by the way of looking at the person, you know, and the tone of voice that you are using. So that also gathers. What else can you say? What comments? You know, you can say any comments. Maybe you can share an experience about, you know, this concept. Need to make sense of others. Or what happened to you? What happened to you? Maybe at work, in your family, with friends, in a social gathering or in a meeting, when it was hard for you to make sense, to understand the person that you're talking to. Oh my God, and you have to talk to that person. What do you do? What happened? Who can share an experience? Well, a mini experience. So this is your way to talk. So who can say it? Participation? Participation counts. It's very, I think it's a very important component, necessary component for this session. It's listening and speaking, you know? So, all right, it's not a matter for me talking and talking. It's your time. This is your chance to talk. All right. Araceli, who could be, you know, another volunteer? Who could be a volunteer, please? We need volunteers. Daniela, can you help me getting volunteers? Who could be a volunteer? Who's a volunteer, Daniela?
Xiomara is a volunteer.
Okay, thank you, Xiomara. Xiomara, please, thank you for being a volunteer. So, need to make sense of others. What comment can you share tonight? What happened to you or what comes to your mind?
Yes, in first, good evening. I'm from Peru. Currently, I'm studying at the university, and also I study English. I'm staying intermediate level. I understand at least 70 or 80% that you are said at the long of the class.
You're doing great.
I can hear very well. Could you repeat?
Oh, yes. Okay. Now, how do you understand a person? What is the best way for you to understand others? Do you have a technique? Do you have a strategy?
No.
What do you apply to in your conversations, in a presentation? Yeah.
Yes, for example, with my teacher's English, I'm trying to pay attention the way of pronunciation and the mode, how they move the mouth. O sea,
yes.
cómo
how do they produce the sound, you know?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Excellent, you're a good observer. Excelente, muy bien, excellent.
Yes. And I'm failing so much in the listening part. I'm trying to watch videos or listening music to improve my English and expand my vocabulary. Because I need to practice more and more. And in the part of the grammar, I'm searching the vocabulary or in the dictionaries about the words that aren't familiar.
Okay, now that I know that your perspective of your participation, point to, talked about, it's about your experience taking English
Okay.
class. Okay, now I'm gonna just try to make the connection. It's okay. I'm gonna help you a little bit. Regarding my main question, how you make sense, look at the picture right now, and let's pretend, that they have an Asian appearance, correct? They could be from China, they could be from Korea, they could be from Japan. Okay, so let's pretend that you need to talk to these people. They're talking. So what would you tell them to be part of the conversation? Look at them. They're like this, trying to figure it out. They're trying to really make sense of each other. So what would you say, or what would you do? ¿Qué harías tú para poder integrarte a esa conversación en inglés? ¿Mejor?
I asked.
No hay escapatoria, no tienes otra opción. Like, this is it. This is your moment. You are delegated to tell them something. So what would you say? What comes to your mind? Use your imagination. These people are talking. They're really into a process, because they're into a process to understand themselves. But guess what? You are going to that. You are going to be part of that conversation. Te vas a integrar esa conversación. ¿Cómo harías? Be spontaneous, nada planeado, porque actually real life conversations, they are unplanned, so you really need to make sense. You need to know, you need to know the basics of communication. You need to have your values, your ethic, of course, always what is right, what is wrong. You need to know about cultures, but at the end, guess what? This is it. You are in the show, you need to speak out. How? You need to figure it out. Okay, yo te digo, mira, diles tal cosa a ellos, por favor, es urgente. Lo que te venga. ¿Qué le dirías? So what will come to your mind? What will you say? How will you integrate yourself to that conversation or interaction? Who can say it, or who can help her? I don't know. Who can help me? ¿Qué pueden decir para ustedes integrarse a esa conversación?
Maybe I sit near to them and then wait a moment when they don't be talking, okay, and ask if I can ask something to them.
How would you ask? What would you say?
I ask them if I can ask something to them, or maybe if I can give my opinion, or I don't know.
Very good.
Then,
you know what? I have a suggestion. You would say, "Oh, excuse me, can I join? Can I join you? Can I join you? Can I share something with you, or can be part of this, conversation? And is there anything that you would like, or you may offer something too? So is everything okay? All right. It could be just a way of opening. Great. Thank you. All right. So good participation. So that is pretty much one of the goals of this session. Okay. So these are the stages of perception formally, when I lecture, about basics in communication. Of course, we need to talk about perception of speakers, speaker one, speaker two. Either in Spanish, English, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, any language. It's pretty much the same process, all right? So 3 main stages. Perception, occurs in 3 steps mainly, formally. Selection, and to say, okay, what is, selection? Organization, and interpretation. So everything happens here, right? All right, selection, you pay attention to a stimulus. Stimulus, as I was saying, some elements, stimulus, signals, signals, words that the person is they're using, he or she, or both are using. What else? Tone of voice, appearance, any stimulus that you can really absorb. Organization, you just pretty much follow pretty much what you understand, how you can really approach. Because if you want to have a conversation, and of course you already have your own perception, but guess what? There is a message there. So you need to deliver the message. So it would be awful if there is a blockage and then there's something going on and there's no communication. So that is like you organize your pieces and it is a mental process. And of course you determine what the stimulus means to you, interpretation, all right, perception. So another, and I believe that another key term is culture. Culture influences on perceptions of others. It's very, very true. All right. All right, you say, oh, if you look at him, this is the appearance, but for in some cultures, for an interview, the person, the guy especially, needs to be, more formal regarding the attire, a formal attire. But he could be a famous engineer. He could be a famous writer, editor, a CEO. We don't know. So sometimes, appearances, may tell you something, you stereotype some, tendencies and behaviors, but not specifically, are true. What it really makes a difference is when you are aware of the culture, what is behind. And when we talk about culture, it's not specifically and diversity, what covers each community, it's also the acceptance, all right, that is implied there, all right, and the expectations, that you may have unconsciously and consciously, with that specific person who has a specific background, having a specific culture. But guess what? They are both talking. So, okay, ideas based on this picture, all right? Who could create a story? Who can tell me? What could you create here? What do you think? What type of conversation are they having? Is he actually a CEO and he is being interviewed with this reporter, or that is nonsense? Like, no way. I don't think so. Maybe he's a movie star, or she's a famous journalist, or they are simply co-workers, or they are simply classmates from a higher institution, a college, university, any academic center, language center, or they're just friends who are just having fun and having a nice conversation. So this is the activity. Look at the image, all right? Carefully, look at the setting. They are in and out. Where are they? You can maybe, predict the place, based on the bricks. I don't know, the design of, where they are standing at, the setting. Look at the both speakers. Observe, the gestures. I believe that are they having a friendly or an unfriendly conversation? What type of conversation are they having? So please create a scenario, create a situation, and please speak out. All right, that's your activity. That's your activity based on this slide. So first of all, culture influences on perceptions of others. Okay, that's the message. Okay, in what ways can you express that by looking at that that picture, that image? Who can tell me?
I think they could be neighbors because they are in front of the house, I don't know, and all they look similar with the same fences, and maybe they meet there while they were going out or going somewhere else, and they stop to chat.
Mhm. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Any other participant, any other guest? Mhm. Any
My
volunteer?
impression,
Yes. Who is this?
yes, sorry. My impression, Mary. My
Okay.
impression is that they were friends, that they are travel around the world. They were in London, and well, and they are very happy together.
Okay, yes. Okay, now description. Let's work on descriptions. Okay, and let's analyze personalities. That's another task. That's another activity that I'm doing using this image. Okay, activity 2. Okay, let's analyze, or let's have an opinion about personalities. Remember, impressions, perceptions, the way you dress, the appearance, the physical, the gestures, what he or she is drinking or not drinking, anything. So who can tell me about the personalities of these both speakers?
They both look happy because they are smiling to each other. The girl is wearing more formal clothes than him, so I think she could go to work maybe. And he looks, yes, that he's going to, I don't know, to run because he's wearing a cap and a sweater. And it's winter over there, so
Yes. I love his outfit, by the way. It's very cool. I guess. Nice car. I love it. Very chill. Yes. Okay, great. Another participant, another volunteer who can tell me, about the personalities or description, just describing, what he or she, what they're wearing, or anything. Keep it simple. Remember that we have combined levels. Hay muchos niveles de inglés. La idea es que esta sea su oportunidad para que ustedes puedan expresarse, ¿ok? Ya sea, no hay necesidad que sea tan complejo. There's no need to have a very serious, complex and conversation or participation. It's just a matter of, speaking up, expressing yourself, having your turn. This is your moment. This is your time. Yes. So who can do it? You can just describe a person or create a story. Tell me more about the personality. I don't know. It just is your class. Yes.
At the first sight, I thought that he was interviewing her to boy about
It happened. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hello.
I don't know if he was speaking.
Araceli, discúlpame, pero creo que hay un problema del audio y no podemos escucharte bien, por eso lo desactivo. Se escucha como viento.
Shut the windows or something. Okay. Yes. Ready? Oh, I see John Anthony. Anthony, are you there? I remember you. I've seen your name, seen you before. Anthony, John? No one? Who can do it? What about Miss Orozco, Livia? All right. Let's proceed. Speaking fluently and professionally with my English Lab North Star drills. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do in a minute. All right. The remaining time, you know, what is left, okay, of the class, it was pretty much giving you, you know, a little practice of our North Star listening and speaking my English Lab material. All right. So this is pretty much our social media and main contact number. All right. So let me minimize this and teaching. Yeah, that's my teaching. Yes, yes. That's my lab. All right. When you're taking a class with us, all right, you can either, these are the ebooks, you know, I'm sharing this with you. You know, we have TOEFL prep, you know, so we give you the access of this e-course plus your lab, my English lab. All right. At the same time, we'll have our reading practice. For the business conversation, as I taught you, okay, as I presented and I showed you before, we have the business partners, which they are above expert, that is for the IELTS, is this, you know, this is what I use from for previous classes. And this is pretty much the material, the course that I use for all about business and conversation too. Okay, so this is what we're sharing, all right, based on the topic of tonight, before the closing. So we want to do, Daniela chose this topic based on the audience. It's called Culture and Commerce. Okay, check what you know, focus. So we want to do an activity based on listening, all right? So hopefully you will enjoy it, all right? For every single module on under listening and speaking North Star, all right, we have a section for just a preview, what you know, that like your diagnostic test. So we measure how prepared you are based on this particular unit, all right? Always an assessment is at the very beginning and then at the end. You focus on listening, you know, your main concentration on listening, and then some more practices on listening and speaking. On under speaking, you record your voice, and we have a nice video. So I want to do I want to use one of the activities, you know, from the menu, hopefully, and then we'll be closing the session. But I would like to also show you pretty much how it works. All right. So here we have. Actually, this is, you need to record it, so I cannot. All right, so it's loading. So listen again, compare the example notes with your notes from listening 1 on page 122, let's pretend. How can you improve your notes? So pretty much, okay, this is main ideas, details. So this is the conflict, you know, you're not doing pretty much the homework, you're just pretty much listening and making sense of the information based on the chart. Hopefully you get it. This is, I'm modifying the exercise. I'm using the tool, I'm using the conversation, but I am already showing you the answers, okay? If you were taking the class or if you're actually taking your online class, you listened it, this is blank, all right? There's nothing written, no hay nada escrito ahí. You listen and you're supposed to get the main ideas, okay? Of course, you need to take notes, the professional, you know, just a piece of paper or using your phone, how it goes. Let's see. So listen. So make sure that based on the conversation, okay, that you're listening, do your best to identify, please, which ones are main ideas. And you say, oh, yes, I know, I listened, I found them. And then details, all right? Main ideas and details. So 1, 2, and 3.
Critics call it a human zoo. Tour companies consider it a tourist attraction. Whichever the case, the long-necked women of Padang have become an important source of money for several small villages on the border of Thailand and Myanmar. Reporter Mike Danforth has this report.
Welcome to Nisoy. Please buy your ticket here.
Each year, around 10,000 tourists visit 3 small villages along the Thai-Myanmar border to see the famous long-necked women. The attraction is a tradition that requires women to stretch their necks by wearing brass coils. Originally from the Padong tribe, the women and their families came from Myanmar to Thailand in the 1980s to escape poverty and war. Their new lives are very different from their lives as farmers in Myanmar. Now they make a living talking with tourists, posing for pictures, and selling handmade souvenirs. When a Padong girl turns 5, a thick coil of brass is wrapped around her neck. Throughout her life, more coils are added until her neck carries up to 25 brass rings, weighing up to 22 pounds. The coils push up her chin and press down her collarbone, making her neck longer. Pape, a young woman with 20 neck rings, describes her early years of neck stretching.
At first, it was painful, but now it's okay. Now sleeping, eating, working, everything is okay. But I cannot take it off, so this is my life.
It truly is her life. Pape's neck is now so weak that if she takes off the coils, her head will fall forward and she'll stop breathing. Despite the discomfort, Padong women in Thailand continue to wear the coils, even though the tradition has almost disappeared in Myanmar. Why? Because there's money in it. Ma Nong, a graceful woman with 24 neck rings, explains.
In Myanmar, I worked hard growing food. Now I sit and tourists take pictures. In 1 month, I get $70 to $80. It's easy and it's good money for my family. Sometimes I'm tired of tourists always looking, but it's good money.
Each year, as the long-necked women have become more and more popular, the controversy about them has increased. In an outdoor restaurant near Nisoy, tourists discuss whether or not to visit the village. Sandra, a Canadian woman, feels that it's fine to visit.
I don't really see a problem. I mean, this is their tradition. And so if I go, it's like I'm helping them to preserve it. Spending my money is also helping them. You know, they make a living from tourism, so they need us.
Frederick from Germany feels differently.
Actually, I don't see that we are preserving tradition at all. This tradition has died in Myanmar already. These women are just hurting their bodies to entertain us. It's like paying to go see animals in a zoo. It's degrading.
For now, the future of the long-necked women is easy to predict. As long as there are tourists who will pay to see them, they will continue to wrap their daughters' necks. The controversy continues, with one side seeing the villages as examples of how tourism can save dying traditions, and others criticizing it as harmful and degrading to the Padong women.
I believe it's really touchy. You know, I really, the theme of this topic, I believe that is great, especially, all right. So as you see, all right, you placed, and hopefully, I hope that most of you got the main ideas and details, but I believe that I wish that maybe I will extend this class to the next set of classes. I think it's beautiful. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time to, for discussion, but I believe that this is extremely, sensitive topic, so you can imagine, it's true. It's about what? Perceptions, the different perspectives that we all have, as humans. So yes, we're helping, but at the same time, some people say, wow, they're hurting themselves. So it's degrading. So there are many, many angles of one action. So, but as I said, I think it's extremely interesting. So the idea is to really train you, all right, train your mind and exteriorize with the language, capturing main ideas of the listening and the details, and making a difference what is a main idea and details. Okay, I want to just do it quickly, but I'm going to do it. A mini activity, you know, that involves a mini video. These are great. And then I will be ending, you know, the class. You know, I know that it's kind of extra, but I think that I really love doing this and sharing. You know, you're a great audience, talkative, eager to learn and participate. So I don't mind extending the session.
When you think
Okay.
of natural resources,
Okay, let me
maybe
stop,
you
let me
think
stop, let me stop. Okay, what's going on here? Predict, we're predicting. This video is about, you know, ecotourism success stories in Uganda and Costa Rica. Before you watch the video, think about the following questions. How does tourism positively or negatively affect an area? What is ecotourism? Watch the video, take notes, and make ideas and details. So it's pretty much what you've been doing that the previous exercise presented. But now this is more visual, right? It's not just listening, it's just both. And then you have an activity writing true or false, okay? So watch it.
think of forests, minerals, or fertile soil. Plants and animals can be precious resources too, especially in regions with undeveloped rainforests, like parts of Central America, or unique animals, like East Africa. But protecting these plants and animals is a big challenge. Take the example of East Africa. Many East African animals face the threat of poachers, people who steal animals to sell to collectors or kill them for their tusks or hides. In addition, animals require land resources that people could use for farming or houses. Protecting wildlife and setting aside land for animals to roam and graze is expensive, and the nations of East Africa don't have any extra money. So how can a country protect its wildlife resources and generate money and jobs for people? The answer, in part, is ecotourism. Ecotourism is a growing trend in the tourist industry. Tourists spend their vacations with wildlife in the animal's natural habitat. The money the tourists spend helps the host country's economy and helps the host country acquire the money it needs to protect its wildlife. One unique ecotourism opportunity is in the East African nation of Uganda. Here in the dense tropical rainforest of western Uganda is one of the last places on Earth where you can still find one of nature's most endangered species, the mountain gorilla. Every day, guides lead groups of tourists on a 3-hour hike into the rainforest to spend an hour among the gorillas. The fees that tourists pay for their trek provide money to protect Uganda's vanishing forests and to keep the gorillas safe. Tourism has become popular worldwide. Tiny Costa Rica, the government is using ecotourism monies to help preserve its rainforests. Ecotourism is now Costa Rica's biggest source of income. As one final benefit of ecotourism, many people who go on treks in search of wildlife develop a new appreciation for nature and the environment.
Excellent. So as you can see, the answer is true. All right. Countries that want to help the environment get money, you know, from ecotourism. This money helps them protect plants and animals. So the answer was true. All right. So of course, this is the teacher's view. All right. So the answers, you know, the first one was true. It costs a lot of money to protect wildlife based on what you watch and heard. All right. That happens to be true. Ecotourism creates jobs and money. Yes, true. You know, whatever you read. So this is pretty much, you know, what, you know, you will be pretty much doing. Okay, let me see, watch the video. You have a chance to just choose what is right, what is wrong. All right. So it's already, you know, time to say goodbye. All right. So it's been really a pleasure to be with you. Let me stop sharing. Okay. So anyways, the final words is that it's been really a pleasure to be with you tonight. And thank you so much for participants who have been in lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the closing of this first module of ELA's free live sessions. So I believe that there is being a lot of learning for us as an institution, of course, learning, you know, of participant guests who could join us, you know, like you guys. So thank you so much. Hope, you know, I'm grateful that some of, you know, most of you, all of you have been very attentive and active, participating, which really makes a difference and provides a different touch. So any questions, please feel free to send us a WhatsApp message, send us an email. You know, the whole team, you know, is very, you know, friendly to answer questions. So anyways, have a great night. All right. Goodbye.
Katia, antes de terminar, por fin recuerda darle stop. Ahorita he tenido que conectarme así de urgencia y por eso antes de olvidarnos te hago recordar. Muchísimas gracias.
Oh, thank you. Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Goodbye.
Muy buena, muy buena.
Okay.
Goodbye.
All right. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Many thanks, Katia. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Take care. Bye.